Hey, everybody. Welcome. What's going on? I hope everybody's having a good Friday. Feel good Friday. Feel good fantasy Friday. Feel good Packer fantasy football Friday. There's a lot of stuff going on today. Welcome to the Chop Sports Daily, brought to you by a whole bunch of people we'll talk about in a little bit. Also coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy studio right here in Matawan, New Jersey. It is Sturch. It is Gooch Wrestling. Rob is behind the glass. We hope you have, or hope you're having a good morning so far. I know our internet woes continue, so if we cut out, we're sorry. I don't know anymore. I just don't know, Gooch. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how many people I got to talk to. I don't know how many people I got to just fuck. I don't even know. I just run out of options.
We're going to get a new modem this weekend.
I mean, yeah, I'm going to spend $400 on a modem to make sure that I'm one of those gaming. I'm not going to call you losers because you guys are. I mean, there's like
winners.
You could be professionals. You could be professional gamers at this point. But there's things out there that are like built for those things, and what we need is upload speed, and that's. I'm not going to get into all that because I don't really care anymore. Like I said to you guys before, I hope you guys are doing well. If you want to support Chop Sports and pay for the new router, you can do so by going over to patreon.com/Chop Sports. That's how to do it. There's a lot of cool shit happening on the Patreon right now. If you join $3, $5, $10, you'll be entered into the new Break Buds break, where I know you brought something back here. You have it.
I'm going to bust it out in a second.
Okay, we're going to bust it out and break it open in a second. Huh?
No.
Come on. I thought
teaser,
for sure.
A little teaser.
Yes. All right. So there will be whatchamacallit, looking for that. Hey, yeah, buddy. I like that, LaCour. You're the man, bro. That's why you're the man. Your episode, by the way, is doing phenomenally. I really appreciate you coming on a sit down with Sturch. A lot of downloads, a lot of people in the local area learning all about you. Time for a rundown because there's plenty of stuff to get into.
Yeah.
There was obviously, this is how it always happens. Literally 3 minutes after we went off the air yesterday, something went down. We'll talk about that in a little bit because it's obviously the biggest story of our sports.
Yeah,
day.
we'll let that kind of bleed into the first topic at the end of the rundown. You'll see how I do this. So, opening things up, we do have a big card this weekend where Kamara Usman is defending his welterweight crown against Leon Rocky Edwards. There's 3 fights of note on the card. I'm going to break it down a little bit without getting too in depth. If anybody has any questions or wants to reach out after, I'll talk about where I came with my conclusions as best as I can. So Kamara Usman is minus 350 against Leon Rocky Edwards at plus 275. The way I'm looking at this right here is they fought before. It was a fairly boring fight. Both guys played it safe. I think they're going to be very similar in this one. There's a lot on the line for Usman every time he goes out there. So I could very well see him playing this safe and maybe using his wrestling a little bit. So Usman decision is minus 120. So it's leaning towards like that's the way to place your value. Usman's not going to lose the fight unless he gets knocked out. And if you're going to place plus 275, you might as well rock with the plus 550 on a KO. If you really think Edwards is going to win, that's his only chance to me is a puncher's chance. So if you really think that's the one, then you could place a little bit of money and get a nice payout. Another fight, Luke Rockhold against Paulo Costa. Both guys I really can't stand. I'm not a fan of Luke Rockhold. If you've watched the lead up to these fights, dude is just a douchebag. He's going at reporters. Like,
who's the guy you showed me today? He's not a douchebag.
Oh, that's Joe Hitman. That's Bare Knuckle FC. I'll get to that in a moment, bro.
I want to run through a brick wall.
Love that stuff. Yeah, I got a nice little heater going on
behind me.
So Luke Rockhold is a big dog in this one. Costa is favored minus 350, and Rockhold is at plus 260 on the get back. Costa is minus 160 to knock him out. That's happening. Luke Rockhold is going to get knocked out early, probably. So that's where I'm going with that one. Costa minus 160 for the KO. Not great odds, but it's kind of telling when it's a KO and it's that bad.
Yeah.
And then we have a little more of a boring fight. Merab Javishvili, I think I got it right, against Jose Aldo. Everybody, fan favorite Jose Aldo. He's been kicking around for a really long time.
Dude.
Jose.
It's
Jose, but
so sad.
just take my word for it on that one.
I mean,
it's Portuguese, so the J is not silent because it's not Spanish. It's Portuguese. So
is that a thing?
It's Jose Aldo. It's Jose Aldo. Yes.
Cool. See, I'm cultured.
Davishvili is a minus 140 favorite, and most people are going to look at this as like, wow, Aldo's a dog. Davishvili is really good. He's just really boring, and he needs a big win like this over Aldo to put himself into contention because he really should be there. You know, this guy's on a tear. He just doesn't have the name value, and he's a very boring fighter. But I like Aldo plus 200 for a decision. He's tough to take out. Davishvili doesn't really have that finish you style. So I think Aldo has a chance to go 3 rounds full bore. He doesn't really have to reserve anything. He's fought in 5-round fights for the most of his career. A 3-rounder for Aldo. I think he could go pedal to the metal the entire time and maybe even finish him. But that one's going to go the distance, I think. So Aldo minus 200. Moving off of the MMA arena, we do have a bare knuckle event this weekend.
So we're still in the MMA arena.
A nice little heater. This fight has me a little more excited than the UFC card does. They got the Joe Hitman, and he's just a guy that you want to hear talk. And when you hear him talk, you want to run through a brick wall. So if you do have some time to steal the link, message me. I'll send you that. And the main event in that card is definitely a banger, and it is Mike Perry. I love Mike Perry. He's not the best UFC guy, but he's a fan favorite, and he gets the crowd going. And he's fighting Michael Venom Page, who everybody knows who Venom Page is, right? He's the guy he's the British guy. He fought for Bellator for a long time.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
He did like the Pokemon
Basically,
thing, right?
He's like a smaller version of the Style Bender.
Okay.
Adesanya, but one of those types of guys, a really elite striker. I'm curious to see how he's going to fare in a bare knuckle game because that's a very different ball game. Off of combat altogether. Major League Baseball news. We talked about the Braves all week about how they keep on locking up talent. I did misspeak and said that they had Dansby Swanson locked up. They do not quite yet. He is a pending free agent, but they opened up contract negotiations, and that's looking to get done fairly soon. So their whole core is going to be back for the next decade or so.
Blushing, fellas.
And the Grom wants to come here too. So
who?
The Grom wants to go there.
That's
you see how they lined it up, by the way? The Mets are scared of the Yankees, man. They lined up.
Stop.
They lined up Scherzer and DeGrom Monday, Tuesday for the Subway Series. Go easy on us,
I've been talking about Brendan Beatty for the past couple days in the rundown, and I want to talk about him again because I saw a video yesterday of his high school team that got together and watched his first at bat or his debut live as a team. And the video of them watching him go yard ski, Dave, I did that for you.
Man, a boy, learning.
It's one of the best videos I've seen on the internet in the past couple of days. I watch a lot of videos, so
he does watch a lot of videos.
It ranks very, very
an unhealthy amount
on the list. I don't know what I have 73 away from. Oh, that is as I'm on the Mets. Go follow the Till Mets Do You Part. Till Mets Do Us Part over on Twitter. They had a really big day yesterday on the heels of their giveaway and their big guest.
I think it was hilarious. So I did see somebody respond. Seemed like an older woman. She responded. She's like, I don't win anything.
Yeah, you can't win them all.
So
you can't win them all, lady.
Like,
Be around, but if you stick around for the next one, you have a decent shot.
Or join the break button and get a jersey.
But the odds are decreasing as we speak because they're getting follower after follower. I think they hit a little like 400 or something yesterday, which is
good job, baby. Good job.
They're 73 away from their goal. So please, if you are a Mets fan or if you just want to talk shit to Mets fans, go follow Till Mets Do Us Part. Now, don't talk shit. They keep it nice and clean over there. They're
very buttoned up.
Found their traction a little bit, and we're proud of the boys over at Till Mets Do Us Part. Shout out to
it. All started with $1 and a dream.
Matt Ibanez, and John Saponaro. Keep it up.
Abanez. I'm kidding.
Oh, those is fighting syllables.
He texted me yesterday.
Those are fighting syllables right there.
Yeah.
And this is just for Dave. So Yes Network and Hawaiian Mike decided to post a graphic yesterday, and it is that the Baltimore Orioles have the best record in the American League East since May 17th. Right. So I'm not saying this, and I know that Dave, I'm going to say this for Dave. Dave doesn't like how people cherry pick stats from a specific date to make it sound like they're better than they are.
That's what they do.
Well, to me, I feel like May 17th is a big enough sample size as to that. May 17th on is a better indicator as to which team that is.
It's a great sample size. But if they would have went to May 16th, the Yankees probably would have been in front.
Yes.
So I'm saying, like, they looked for it, they found the date, and bang, there's your stat.
I remember, and I said it to you earlier, and I'll say it again.
It's very
I remember when the Yankees had lost the series, and they fell to 6-6 after 12 games. They lost the Baltimore series, and everybody wanted to jump off.
Commander Carson.
Sorry, that was like breaking news.
Everybody wanted to jump off a cliff when the Yankees dropped 2 of 3 to Baltimore at home. In hindsight, not such a bad series loss now because Baltimore is a good team. But I talked at length, episode after episode, about how, well, if you look at the Yankees record since they lost that series to the Orioles, they're 50-10. And I was talking like that.
So at least that's a series when like the world was falling apart and we're like, oh my God, they're 6-6. But since then, they've been on a run.
Look, and I think,
but now it's like they do this all the time.
Because of the nature of where we're at, demographic.
It's like
geographically, we're Yankee fans.
No, I know, but no. I'm talking about every sports network does this, where it's like, if for whatever reason, everybody
does stuff though,
but it's not because it's like so cherry picked. It's like, this guy is 27 for his last 37 in his last 14 games. It's like,
since
what?
May 17th, why don't you look at the things that took place around that time? Adley Rushman called up. They brought up prospects, and then all of a sudden it's not the same ball
So they
club.
could have done that. They could have said, since calling up the kids, they're this.
Well, either way,
not they're in first place in the division.
They're not. They have the best record. They have the best record. And when you're looking at projecting about who's going to do what, and you look at odds and you look at things like that, it's same thing goes with football. You can't look at weeks 1 through 4 how they were playing against the pass. If weeks 5 through 11, they were the best team in football against the pass, but now they're just middle of the road. They're one of the better passing defenses.
Understood, and you can say that. Remember, I told you when the Panthers came into Dallas last year, they were 3-0, had the best defense in football, right? And then Dallas put up some numbers on them, and I'm like, well, what happened there? You know what I mean? That's fine, but don't. I think everybody's missing my point. Is that what happens is they look for the bright spot, and then they find it, and then they post about it because that was the bright spot. Here's why I bring it up more so than anything, though. It's because, like I said, there's a negative connotation attached to it because it's posted on the S Network and it's posted in Chop Sports in a geographical region where we're all Yankee fans. That's where our base is. And it looks like it's a disparaging stat against the Yankees, when really I'm looking at it as like just kind of highlighting how really good Baltimore has been playing and that they're here to stay, that they're going to be here in the playoff push. And they, right now, as it stands, I believe they're in. I hope they're in because I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
It'll be fun. Baltimore is
I don't hate
you can't hate the Orioles. I don't hate
you just yet, but yes, you can. I hated the Orioles.
Hated when they were relevant. When Jeffrey Mayer was catching fucking home runs. Brady Anderson was hitting 50 dingers.
No problem re-hating you. I will jump right back on the hate train.
You've rejoined the hate. I was just going to say hate train. That's
Commander Carson. We knew you were deployed. We probably talk about it twice a week, right, Dave?
Yeah,
right?
we do bring him up a lot. So welcome back. Glad you're safe, buddy. Thank you for your service, dude. Of course.
All right, what else we got on this rundown as we move past
maybe we have to
the
go
World
to another
Series
Yankee
champion
game.
Baltimore Orioles?
Yes. Maybe you guys need to go back to the Yankees.
When we went, it was like the 26th of April we went.
I think I'm going to the Yankees Mets August 22nd.
It was Cole's first win.
Next week?
Carlos.
It's Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
Just so you know. Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Sick invite.
I got invited by Los.
Which Los?
Carlos.
Los. Fuck, dude. What am I? Huh? What the fuck?
As I move past the baseball things, we got tidbits to talk about in the NFL. Small tidbits, yes. And then we have one banger
to turn.
So Tom Brady is still away from the team, and head coach Todd Bowles is non-committal about Tom Brady's return to the team. And I bring this up because it is news. It should be news.
What do you mean?
He's been gone.
Tom Brady stepped away from the team. He'll deal with a personal
non-committal meeting, like he's not going to.
He doesn't know when he's coming back.
He can't say, he'll be back September 1st.
He might be back Wednesday. He might be back next Thursday.
Yeah.
Now, I'm only bringing this up because Antonio Brown tried to make a comment, but it didn't really make sense. But I understand Antonio Brown language. I don't know who else here does, but I understand what he's trying to say.
It's like reading Cam Newton's Twitter.
I understand what he's trying to say, and I got to say, Antonio Brown's right.
What did he say? What did he say? Tell me what he said.
He just said, now, if I needed time to step away.
He's not Tom Brady.
Fair. Okay.
Not even close.
Okay, so Aaron Rodgers isn't Tom Brady either.
And he stepped away. He was under a waterfall during training camp last year. Nobody said shit. Well, people said shit, but he got back and played football.
I'm going to run this.
So
back.
that's why you don't have to worry about it.
100% Aaron Rodgers got dragged for months.
So drag Tom Brady.
And this isn't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers reported day one he wasn't missing camp. They fixed that before camp. Am I wrong about that? No.
Last year?
Yeah. So right now, Tom Brady should be practicing with his team, chasing after ring 31. He's not. I'm not saying that he doesn't have good reason. I'm saying that the media is giving Tom Brady a pass.
Of course they are. 100%. Tom fucking Brady.
And look, when you win 38 Super Bowls,
but for Antonio Brown to be like, if it was me,
no.
Well, maybe if you didn't strip down to your underwear last time we saw you, we would have fucking not dragged you after everything you do, Brown.
I don't want you to misconstrue what I'm saying and me saying like Antonio Brown was right every step of the way in every single situation. The way he handled himself was childish across the board. But when you're looking back at the resentments that started to form in his brain if you watch the Ryan Clark interview with him on that podcast, Antonio Brown shuts him down several times.
Yeah, he does.
Where Ryan Clark has nothing to say. Where it's like, he's like, you're telling me that this didn't happen, and Ryan Clark's like, yeah, it did. So like, you could start to see where a person that thinks the way Antonio Brown does will start to build some resentment, and that's what kind of led to the situation that we're in. Not saying Antonio Brown's right about the way he's acting, but he's definitely right in his calling out of the NFL media and how they pick and choose very similar situations and they drag people forward.
Well, here's the thing.
Without facts.
This is why it's not a similar situation. And I'll tell you why. Because last year, when Rodgers went on his vacation with his girlfriend and whoever the fuck else he went with, right? You got pictures under the waterfall, blah, 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 blah. Mine's not on football. So people are like, what the fuck, Aaron? You got training camp coming up. You got some big ass issue. Solve it. Do it. Get it done, right? So that's why people dragged Aaron Rodgers. Nobody has a goddamn clue as to what's going on with Tom Brady right now. If they would have said, like, he needs to step away because he's got to watch his kids, like, then you're like, what the fuck? But what if something's actually wrong?
Well, here's the thing.
You don't know, so we can't make judgments. So Antonio Brown coming out saying, oh, if it was me, Antonio, you're a nutcase. You're an absolute nutcase. You have no fucking ground to stand on with this.
But how come? Where is the prying? Like, where is the sources? Where is Adam Schefter's anonymous source saying what Tom Brady is actually doing?
Maybe it's something really shitty.
How come nobody brought up the fact that it's kind of interesting that their first preseason game was against the Dolphins?
On what planet does a worldwide megastar like Tom Brady get to just pick and choose?
He's not picking and choosing. Maybe he's not picking and choosing.
Because if it's crazy shitty,
maybe Todd Bowles knows.
That's even more of a reason why the media should be all over it.
Yeah. So, but do you really want that though,
bro?
I don't want to be TMZ. I don't want to fucking hear about this shit.
I'm not saying, Dave, go break the Tom Brady story. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the people that have been proven to have poor ethics time and time again with how they cover.
Well, maybe they're trying to turn over a new leaf.
Yeah,
maybe.
Fast forward to tomorrow. Fast forward to tomorrow.
No. Maybe of all people, Schefter, who fucked up the entire retirement. Right, he announced it a week before Brady was able to announce it. Right, he screwed all this up. So Schefter's probably like, you know what?
So Adam Schefter's
let somebody else take this shit.
Adam Schefter is saying, "Yeah, somebody else take it," and everyone's like, "Well, no." I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it, but I am a fan of it because I think it is better that we don't know because I don't really give a shit. He's not with the team. I don't think it's that big of a story. Le'Veon Bell.
It's probably
we get to I think is important. A little more much is fun.
And we're good.
And we're
back. All right. Sorry, folks.
And that is it for my rundown. Back to you, Dave.
All right. Well, no, it's not because we have a bombshell that went off 5 seconds after we got off the air yesterday, which was absolutely atrocious. Let me turn my volume down here because I'm going to join the stream so I can see the comments. I hope everybody's doing all right out there. Held on during that storm of internet woes. Because, that's what we deal with here over at Chop Studios when it's streaming. Everything else is fine.
I wish we had the same thing that they use at the White House to put the Biden hologram up.
Say what?
You know how like the White House has that hologram machine?
Yeah.
Where they're able to put a hologram of Biden up?
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool if we had that when we dip out, they could They could just put a
Put us
hologram
in.
of us
Yeah.
talking.
Well, again, we're sorry about the lagging.
We're good now.
Well, that's what somebody's saying, but I'm watching Gooch's screen and it's just dog
I'm
shit.
looking at ours.
No, I'm
Here.
looking at yours and it's dog shit. I could see it. I could see the thing. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
No, mine's moving. That's not moving. Mine's moving for sure.
No,
man,
your screen is the same as his screen.
No, I'm telling you
So-
right now, you're moving on my screen.
I can see that. I'm saying I can see the status bar, which is the reason the when that's low, we're chipping in and out.
I never.
Damn, because I really wanted to get into the Deshaun Watson stuff before I wanted to cut this stream off completely because I'm just ready to fucking break a wall. But anyway, so Deshaun Watson, he goes from 6 to 11, and all from what I lost my train.
Was there a fine the first time?
He went from 6 from 11, and from all things, it was like Deshaun Watson was willing to accept a 10 game, is what he said. He said, give me a 10 game suspension and a $5 million fine. So then the Texans were like, okay, we're on to something here. Or no,
Texans, Browns.
You get where I'm going with
Yes.
it.
So
the NFL and Watson were like, we're on to something here. He's like, why don't we just throw it at 11 games and then you could come back against the Texans and we can make it really weird for everybody involved.
it's weird. No, that's hype. They all want that shit. They can't wait for that to happen.
I feel like that's the opposite
So
of what they
annoying.
should want. It's the opposite of what they should want because now they're going to have like all the craziness of what took place with the lawsuits and the Texans and Deshaun Watson all in the same building on this coming out party for this guy that either did or didn't ruin the lives of several people coming out and being like a star quarterback on the national stage.
Yeah, well,
I don't like it.
my only thing is this absolutely destroys Cleveland more than it's destroying Deshaun Watson. Watson doesn't give a shit. He went out yesterday, finally made a statement, right? He danced more than Michael Jackson around every single thing. It was insanity how he can't just what I heard from everything that I heard in that interview was an admission to guilt. It was I'm so sorry for the people that were affected during this time. Bullshit. Okay. The one guy was like, so who are you apologizing to? He's like, everybody, all the women, even you, like talking to the reporter. Like, he is so fumbling over his own words. It's ridiculous. And the fact that like your whole entire contract is structured to not give an ounce of a shit financially about this year just leads me to believe that nobody really cares. Like he's fine. And now, are the Browns going to be in the Jimmy G sweepstakes or are they going to ride with Jacoby? I don't know. But the Browns season is now up in smoke because this dude being out 11 games makes them worse than they were last year with Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I don't think that the Browns season was ever not up in smoke the minute they signed Deshaun Watson and structured the deal the way they did. I think they kind of knew the writing was on the wall. I don't think that they're going to be in on the Jimmy G thing unless the 49ers are willing to eat a big portion of that contract. And if that's the case, then the Browns are going to have to give up more capital, right? The Browns don't really have draft capital because they just got rid of it all in the Deshaun Watson trade. Right. So it's going to be hard pressed. They do have third and fourth rounders, but the 49ers, I don't think they want $25 million on the books at this point. It's clear as day that they are trying to move off of Jimmy G, but will keep him if need be. The Browns, is Jimmy G that much better than Jacoby Brissett? Yes. But is he that much better than Jacoby Brissett coming into a new system, a new team that's, midway through camp already? He doesn't have all the plays. So it's not like the Jimmy G coming in as this broken down. You already have to kind of dumb down the offense a little bit with Jimmy G because you can't go up top. You can't do certain things with him as a passer.
No, it's not like he can't throw.
No, he can't throw deep. He hasn't thrown deep in his
said
entire
that about
career.
Dak too, but
I mean, well, we're looking at accuracy more so than like every NFL quarterback could sling it, but could you drop it on a dime? I think Dak struggles a little bit accuracy the more you hit the 30-yard mark, as does everybody. Jimmy G,
maybe he's coming
not
with
a good deep
dynamite drop and never knew that parlays were worse than assault. It's so embarrassing for the NFL to suspend this guy less for literally assaulting women. Like, I'm sorry. That's another thing that Watson said in the thing. He's like, well, we're in the process of clearing my name legally. It looks like the NFL has made their decision. So there's nothing we could do about that. There is.
When I listened to the Deshaun Watson statement, it looked like it was written by, it's like, hey, an apology by Deshaun Watson. And it was like, what do they call it? Contributions by the NFL and my lawyers. And you could tell exactly when the NFL was saying what to say and when the lawyers, they co-wrote that entire speech. And it was like with the NFL and the legal system was like, you have to cover these. Have you ever seen somebody like plead guilty in court and take a plea deal, and then they have to like, even if they didn't do it, they have to sit there in court and admit that they did something that they didn't do just for the records. That's what that was. That was all bullshit. Figurehead, whatever you want to call it, coach speak. That's courtroom speak.
So there was preseason football to watch last night. I don't know if anybody actually tuned into that, but it was during halftime, and Schefter went out there and he was like, he's been fined $5 million, and the NFL has also contributed $1 million, and this will go to shelters of those affected by. I'm like, Jesus.
And he's also like, and stop asking about Tom Brady because we're not going to tell you what's going on with Tom Brady.
Yeah, everybody keep watching Watson because Brady something's wrong, but we don't know. So sources have said that Watson is the guy to talk about. Like Watson is the fall guy for the NFL right now, and he still sucks. But like the entire thing sucks.
Is it safe to say now, because I'm sure the listeners are on the same page, and just football fans in general.
Are we done?
Is it okay to bury the Watson thing?
I mean, but that's the problem. That is a problem to me, because what you're doing is you're forgetting about the fact that he messed with these women.
No, I'm not.
By saying, all right, you got your 11. Bro, what a piece of shit.
Bro,
let's never talk about it again.
Come week 12.
Not you. I'm saying anybody.
Week 12 or 13, when all 37 Texans fans are there, right at that game. You're going to hear the same chants you were hearing down in Duval County, because that was the greatest, maybe the greatest heckle that I've heard in a really long time. You sick fuck.
That's a wrestling chant, right, Rob?
Yeah. That makes more sense. NFL? I don't know. I've never heard that in an NFL game.
Ever.
I think Deshaun Watson, he made his bed. He's going to lie in it, and it's not a massage table. But fast forward 2 months, Deshaun Watson's got his first. He's got his first counseling session. He shows up with a massage table, and he's like, "Wait, I thought that was part of the deal."
This is so us, right? It's like, wait, what? Like, what is that?
How long before Watson tries to?
Or if he scores a touchdown and they all just give him like towels as like a celebration,
heated towel.
Could you imagine, dude? They have to black the screen.
That is awful. Anyway.
Yeah, fuck Watson, fuck Brady.
Sucks.
We talk about anybody.
Yeah,
else
we can talk more about Watson, I guess. When
week
the
11,
Browns was their first game. All right, I do want to let you guys know, and I'm sorry about the Artie. I'm sorry about the connection once again. I'm at wit's end with everything. I have to spend some money now, and I have to try to fix it that way. But anyway, speaking of money, I will be actually worried about money when I retire, because if I have to keep spending money on fucking Netgear and shit, that will run my pockets dry. If you're worried about that, don't worry. Michael Fusco can help you guys out. Call 718-701-5787. Guarantees and protections are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing company. Some insurance policies are not available in all states. And if you're a financing guy and you have a small business like us and you want to finance some cool shit, you can do so with a 540 FICO score and starting up to $300. Oh, the rundown just came back. It's like, hello, rundown. And also just about any business can be approved for this financing up to $300. PrestigeTaxFinancing.com /business financing. Also, shout out to our boys over at the Dat Chat. That's a brand new social media app doing blockchain and what do you call that? The
NFTs.
Well, I know that, the NFTs, but there was another thing. It's when you sign, maybe that's blockchain. It's like people are signing contracts now via something else. But in any event, go check those guys out. SteveIshbar.com. Whatchamacall, for all the website stuff. What is that? What's happening? It's like freaking the fuck out.
Even when I'm trying to type in the thing, it like.
Well, I need to get more. There's more money. I gotta get batteries for the
mouse.
Anyway,
and the
money.
keyboard.
Oh, when does the NFC East start? Monday.
That's what I meant to type.
I got it. There it is. Wow, we're all there. Money. But anyway, so that's it for the reads, except for
head on over to manscaped.com. Use the promo code CHOPSPORTS. And you will have a really easy time shaving your balls. If you go on that website and you look at the Performance Package 4.0, it comes equipped with pretty much everything. You could clean your ear wax. Actually. You just clean your ear hairs, your nose hairs with the, what is it called? The Weed Whacker, the ear and nose hair trimmer, the Weed Whacker. And they have the
Lawnmower 4.0.
Lawnmower 4.0 with the 400K
You've done this
LED
so many
light.
goddamn times. You haven't like.
I was like prepping the next segment.
Oh, you forgot all about our sponsors.
I was prepping the next segment, and then I was like, oh, shit, I have to do this read. So, yes, Manscaped, they have the porcelain blade on the lawnmower. And
who the fuck? Wait,
it feels like
who invited Danny? DeJesus to come to the studio on Wednesday?
Oh,
Is he out of his goddamn mind?
No, he is coming. Yeah,
he's coming here to talk Eagles?
He wants to come here and sit in on the
bring
Eagles
all the
show.
smoke, DeJesus.
Good stuff.
Bring all the smoke, bro. I can't wait.
So what else was I saying? Yeah. They have exfoliators, so use that too. Make your booty hole feel smooth. Not that I know about that, but promo code Chop Sports. Use the promo code. Also, a little shameless plug here.
It's not a shameless plug. It's part of the fucking network.
Of course it is. It's all shameless.
Never shameless.
If you looked at the Facebook group yesterday, you may have seen a jersey that's being auctioned off. It's not really auctioned. There's spots for sale. $10 for your choice of a team. $7 for a random team.
Are there teams gone, Gooch?
Sunday. There is 12 teams gone. There is the Cowboy. I'm not going to name the teams. Go over to the Facebook post and look at it. Dave's got the Cowboys.
Is that updated on the Facebook post as far as the teams go?
It is updated. I updated the actual post. So look, this is the jersey. Buy in. Scoop one is Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence helmet.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Today's Fridays. You working today?
Yeah.
Okay. So as soon as Gooch leaves, I'm gonna pop that bad boy open just to find out just exactly who's in that. And listen, I've mastered the what is it when you like melt the fucking plastic, the shrink wrap, right? You could I'll redo it up. It'll look nice. And then I
promise you, he is not. He is not. This is like sacrilege in the break community.
I will not touch the goddamn jersey until it's given to me because it's a signed
Emmett.
Emmett or Aikman.
Dak is in the box.
Wait. So this is not the only one.
No, there's 100. That's the thing. If you want to go look at the available players, there's about 100 of them.
Oh, a Trey Lance college jersey?
Yeah. There's some nice ones in there.
Now, if you get the Niners, you get Lance.
Yes.
College jersey. Okay.
Bailey, just
sorry,
send
Bailey.
us a message.
He'll take Seattle and Miami if they're not
Seattle's
available.
gone, but you could have Miami.
All right.
We'll talk after Bailey. So fantasy football.
Casey. First of all, Casey, shout out to you, buddy. You know why Danny DeJesus won't come here on Thursday? Because the division winners get to come here on Thursday, and that's the Cowboys. Suck it, DeJesus. Anyway, how about another team? I know some folks that have been looking forward to this day for a long time. It is the Green Bay Packers 2022. Never mind. We'll do that in a second because Fantasy Friday. We'll get into the Packers in just a second because there are some really good tidbits from Gooch on a Fantasy Friday. Yes. I know last week we did a fantasy draft live and I was the pick 12. Now I'm pick 5. So now I'm actually paying more attention to what's going on today.
Okay. So I was going to originally bring out all of the fantasy magazines that I acquired over the offseason so far, but I decided I'm going to go against that plan and I'm only going to bring out the one. This one is the one that I decided to go with on draft day.
Free plug.
Most times. Now I understand. I'm not plugging. I'm not even saying it. They're in their 33rd year, so they're like younger than me, which is kind of cool. Rare that I anyway
found anything younger than
33 years in the business means that they've been around a really long time. And I just want to say this. I'm going to preface this. Fantasy magazines, you would think that they're almost obsolete. I love a fantasy magazine on draft day because while you're siphoning through the picks and it's the time is running out. It's good to not have to leave the screen to go do some research because I don't know about you guys, but when I'm doing a draft, I sometimes deal with a little bit of draft day anxiety. It means a lot to me.
There's a lot.
When the time is running down, it's nice to be able to have a reference point. I want to point out the fact that when you use a fantasy magazine, just like you're using the draft room or just like you're using anybody else's rankings that you did not make, use it with a grain of salt. There's a lot of things that take place, injuries. There's position battles that haven't taken place yet at the time of publication. So you have to do your own research, but it is nice to go to a ready-made list of sleepers when you're in round 13 and you don't know who to pick.
Question, is there an absolute eyewear difference between getting a magazine or printing something out on draft day?
Yes and no. I think that
you'll get the most up-to-date shit.
And we'll get into this because if you saw the thumbnail, basically I'm going to go over some commandments. I didn't make them because that would be just regurgitating information. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take their commandments and I'm going to say why I agree or disagree with them and kind of break them all down. But what was your question? Because I had something that was good to go off of it. You just asked me.
Is it more prevalent to do a printout rather than the magazine?
All right. So printout is good because it's just a second reference point. And with the printout, ideally, if you're not taking someone else's printout, you go on a Word doc, make your own printout. So you have.
Yeah, I got to do that.
You
I got to tier out my guys
rankings
today.
Tiered out, which is what I'll get to in commandment number 1. But yeah, definitely the magazine is the way to go because it has just more information and it's streamlined. You could look through the magazine pre-draft and kind of decide like, all right, I'm going to go here. sleepers here. When I need tight ends, sleepers, tight ends. You could just kind of pick out some points that you want to go to, and it saves a lot of time. And it's hard to remember all this shit in real time when the clock is ticking. So I turned the page. Oh, look at that. I turned the page.
Did you just turn the page to the commandments?
Turn the pages as I talk, and I just found it.
Wow.
One page back.
Wow.
Excuse me.
Superb.
Okay. So, commandment number 1, thou shalt have a plan. Obviously, you need to have a plan, but it's not just a plan. Have an in-depth plan. As Dave was saying, he needs to do his tiers. He needs to make his rankings list. Find himself a magazine. Understand the ins and outs of the league. Is it a PPR league? Is it a non-PPR league?
No.
Do you have a super flex? What's the scoring for quarterbacks? Half-point PPR, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of things that you could factor in. Dynasty leagues, age matters, things like that. So definitely have a plan. That's not don't just do one plan. If you're in 3 different leagues, kind of do 3 different leagues. Identify specific players that you'd want to get with draft picks. If you could write down your ideal draft, realistically, do so.
You should probably write down a couple names.
See how close you could get. Of course, you have a couple
in that
names.
range.
If you're a Patreon member, right before draft weekend heats up, like 2 weeks before the opener is like when I'm going to have this out. I'm going to give some lists out, and they're going to be modifiable. You're going to be able to kind of make a couple selections as to what you think of the player, and you'll see what I have worked out, and it's kind of cool. I'm gonna maybe I'll leave them blank so you guys could fill them in yourself. We have
that thing you showed me that you made for baseball.
I
want to see
work
that.
out.
Yeah,
I've put in a lot of time into this over the years, so I'm very proud of that system that I've put together. All right, so have a plan. It seems like it's obvious, but not everyone does. People are busy. Take 20 minutes, even take an hour out before your draft, and definitely figure things out. Being that you have a plan, things don't always go according to plan in fantasy. So be prepared to veer off a little bit. And this goes to the point we were saying, not only having a plan, but having plan B and plan C. If things don't work out and there's a run on receivers early round 1, you might have expected to get a Cooper Kupp or Jamar Chase at the pick 9, thinking running backs are go. Well, guess what? Now you're going to have to readjust. You might not get your elite wideout, and you move past it, but definitely have a backup plan, and don't be afraid to veer off your plan a little bit, because the best talent available is important in the top 6-7 rounds. Start a run, don't finish them. And this means, like, I kind of disagree with this to a degree, in a sense, because I'm big on tier drafting. So I think if you're not going to pick for a long time, it's a good time to start the run, because then you get your pick at that tier. You're like, all right, these guys are all here. I'm good with 6 of them. Rather than finishing the run and getting the last licks and having all the other guys pick the guy, and you're like, all right, I'll take the scraps. You start the run off, but I feel like this is good on like a 2-3 turn or like a 6-7 turn when you're not going to pick for 25 picks. Start the run. Never start the run if you're about to pick again, and you can look at where everybody's picking. So it's like, I don't necessarily agree with that entirely. Next thing, don't freak out. Actually freak the fuck out. If somebody takes your guy, it's okay to freak out. But what you then do is you fall back on your plan A and plan B because you were prepared. So you don't freak out in hindsight. You react a little bit, but take a deep breath and it's all going to be okay. There's plenty of rounds left. And another one that I'm not really sure I agree with, thou shalt maintain balance. Now, I've had success with balanced teams. I've had success with just going running back heavy. I've had success going receiver heavy and punting on running back, but you need to get lucky in those drafts.
Wait, you've gotten success on punting on running back?
Yeah, where I just landed elite receivers, and then I got Nick Chubb when someone got traded. So you could land RB1s throughout the course of the season with someone. Aaron Jones ended up getting a lot of burn mid-season that year. So I made it work at running back. So you want to maintain balance, because it's a lot easier in the early going to just have a guy at every position and knowing. But I do feel like it's a lot of fun to just have to go after a specific position throughout the year with a excess of one position. So if you go heavy on running back, there's going to be someone desperate that went heavy on receiver that needs a running back. You could make it work for yourself, or you just stay on the waiver wire and balance. I think you balance your team out in rounds 8 on. You go for the best of talent available early. This is one that I know that, Dave, you might not agree with based on your mock last week, but thou shalt not draft a quarterback early. Period. Point blank. The end.
When did we draft the quarterback, Rob?
3rd.
What?
fourth. I think you got Herbert
on that flipper on the 3-4.
Yeah.
Rob, you remember that?
It might have been like
I thought it was later than that.
So,
Yeah, I thought it was
well,
later too.
I'm going to read this. I'm plagiarizing here because I think it has some good food in this. Rostering an elite quarterback may be tempting, but it's a waste of valuable draft capital. I could do an entire article on this subject and have, but long story short, the quarterback position is easily the deepest in fantasy. The edge you'll gain under center,
I agree,
relative to the lower weekly end starters at the position, isn't worth the hole you'll be digging at running back and wide receiver. The sweet spot at quarterback lies with the mid-range starters like Tampa's Tom Brady, right? Who carries an early ADP in the 8th round. So it's like you're getting Brady in the 8th. I feel like if you look at your roster at the end of the day and you're like, receivers are good, running backs are good, and I got Brady. You're like
one of the mocks I did from the 12, or I don't remember. I might have from the 5. I got Rodgers in like the 13th round.
And you know what else it does?
Which is
too?
Nuts.
And I firmly believe this. When you go a little late on quarterback, it puts onus on the backup quarterback, and you're able to hit on the Derek Carrs and
or the
just
Trey thinking about Derek Carr
or the Jalen Hurts of last year. So if you pick Dak, right, you were like, okay, I feel good about Dak, but there could be a little bit of trepidation, or it could be if you landed maybe, let's just say, anyone that's around the number 10 quarterback last year, right, and it didn't work out. You hedged your bet a little bit on that, and you went after a Jalen Hurts earlier, or any other quarterback, a Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins. One of the guys that are like fringe ones, and you ended up having a nice little situation where you could stream a quarterback that are on your roster based on the matchups instead of having to pick up guys and play that game. So, look, like I said, tempting. Maybe you could adjust that a little bit for dynasty league purposes. You might want to land your blue chip guy and have him for 10 years, but still. Then you also miss out on the new blue chip guy because you have one. So I think that quarterbacks later is a little bit better.
You just swayed me. That doesn't usually happen, but like at the 5, and I know how many mock drafts I did. There was a couple times where I'm like, Justin Herbert's right there.
I promise you
and
this.
I grab him.
If you look, every single draft I've ever taken a quarterback early, I look at the draft afterwards and I'm like, damn, Josh Allen went in the 13th round. I reached on Kyler in the 5th. 9 rounds.
Yeah.
9 rounds.
That's a big deal.
9
Take
rounds.
notes, folks.
Like how much better is Kyler Murray going to be than Trey Lance this year? Even though Kyler is.
So that's the question I was going to ask you.
Like how much better is he going to be?
So look, start
He's
one.
He's going to be better.
Start one, bench one, cut one. Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, Trey Lance. Fantasy football.
Fantasy football.
Say it one more time with those guys.
Trey Lance, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts.
You have
start one, cut one, bench one.
I got Trey Lance got to get cut because
really,
yeah,
I'm cutting Murray
because he hasn't done it yet.
I'm cutting Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray.
I'm starting Hurts and I'm benching fucking
I think
Lance.
I don't want to be in that league.
What are you gonna do?
Because I'll take Kyler Murray when you pick the other two.
Ken Palmer said quit. If that's who you have, quit. That's really fun.
All right, so all right, don't draft the quarterback early because to finish off my point, if you do, you're going to look back at the draft summary, which I do, and it burns me for sometimes years. Like I look back and it still sucks that I took this, like I missed out on this. And, long story short, don't draft a quarterback early. You will regret it. Thou shalt getteth your dudes. I'm not really reading how they write it because it's corny and sometimes I fuck up. So I didn't say getteth. While doing your prep, you have to have some identified players, as I talked about earlier with commandment number 1. You might want to reach a little bit. If you don't want to be in love with the ADPs early on, first 5, 6, 7 rounds, the ADPs are fairly true. But once you're past a certain point, if you aren't going to get a turn for 20 picks, take your guy because you probably won't get him. You're not the only person that is up on a sleeper. You're not the only person that did prep. You're not the only person that looked at depth charts. You're not the only person that's been watching football for a long time. So go get your guy because there's chances are that there's some people that watch this show and know who I'm going after.
All right, so check it out. Casey Hammond coming in. The draft process brings out a copycat trend sometimes. One guy takes a quarterback in round 5, then everyone starts to take one. Resist that temptation when someone else grabs a quarterback. Like, don't be a part of the run, is what he's saying.
Especially, be a part of the run if you're desperate. If it's like, all right, it's 8th round and everyone punted on quarterback in this draft and we all went chalk. Now it's like they all need one. But if you look around and you're like, all right, 4 teams have a quarterback. 5 just went. I'm picking 7, 8 and 9 pick behind me, right? It's on the way back down towards 1. They all have one. I'm not taking a quarterback now because The only two guys that need one pick after me again on the get back. So then I'll wait 10 picks. I don't give a fuck. There's 7 guys left. I'll take one of them.
Is there any world you live in where somebody knows of that situation, right? Let's just say you have that situation where you're like, well, those two guys don't have a quarterback, so I'll just wait to come back around. Then I'll grab my guy. What about the teams in front of you that draft a second quarterback for trade value alone?
Well, those people are probably going to be holding on to that second quarterback on their bench with a valuable bench player and an inability to trade because
it's a possibility. I've seen it happen.
It happens, but I can promise you this. The hardest position to trade in season is a quarterback. You might have some dumb owners that make a trade for a quarterback. Look, for the same reason why I say punt on quarterback in the draft is because you can't really trade him. You're not going to get the value. If you take a quarterback in the 8th round, I hope you're willing to take worse value or similar value. It's very rare that you're going to be able to trade up.
I was able to do it once upon a time and
it probably sucked for the rest of the
when Lamar was like my 3rd overall pick,
Rodgers.
and I had Rodgers, and I was able to trade Lamar Jackson down the line.
And I'm not saying that on surface value it was a bad trade, but me knowing what I know, and like I know that's a bad trade for whoever did it.
To acquire a quarterback? If their quarterback went down?
But Lamar sucked that year too.
Yeah, he did. But I'm just, but in hindsight, when you're looking at it, you're like, who has 2 quarterbacks? Because you're looking at the waiver wire and it's like, oh, God.
Look, unless there's an excess, typically, if you're trading a player that you drafted in the top 6-7 rounds, you're creating a hole. So it's like you're filling your quarterback void, but you could stream Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins throughout the season and definitely land a quarterback for nothing.
Right.
You could drop your backup defense off their bye week. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Trading for a quarterback is a big no-no for me.
Question from the masses. Angel Frank, thanks for watching, bro. Appreciate you. Thoughts on AJ Dillon as a flex or an RB2?
I love AJ Dillon as a flex. I think he has standalone.
It is Packer Day after all.
I think he has standalone value. If we're talking dynasty leagues, I think he jumps past guys like David Montgomery, Elijah Mitchell, and things like that. But standalone value for sure. He's going to get a little work out of the backfield catching the ball. He had a decent goal line usage. He's not the clear-cut guy, but I'll say this. He's going to have clear-cut guy weeks when Aaron Jones goes down, which is inevitable because he's a running back. So there might be 2 or 3 weeks this year where A.J. Dillon is the clear-cut one and you get RB1 value those weeks. The rest of the weeks, he's a fringe 2/flex player.
I would say on the early, I think it all depends on the timing, but like on the early going weeks 1 through 6, he's a flex, but again, Jones is typically shown to get banged up a little bit. He runs hard, you know what I mean? So then he becomes your one.
As it gets a little colder, and you're looking at playing the Packers, and if I'm a defensive player and I'm like, all right, I hope Aaron Jones plays every play.
Because Dillon's
I do not want to tackle him when it's below 0. But yeah, I do like AJ Dillon, and not just because I'm a Packer fan. I think universally he's got some buzz going around him into entering this fantasy season. All right, I'm going to say this because it's like the most obvious thing on earth. I do think you could go. I disagree with the defense one. Don't worry about your kicker. Stop it. Rob, I heard you say it the other day. Don't embarrass yourself in my league and draft your kicker early.
I don't know, man. Like, think about this. Think about this.
And he was not the best kicker last year.
Well, whatever the case may be. Whoever the best kicker is, right? Let's just think about this. Just pretend you got your 9 starters, right? That you drafted, or even like 8 of the 9.
You have to speed it up.
Hear me out.
Version, because the kickers don't get much time. Like, we're not allowed to talk.
A couple questions.
All I'm saying is, does Kirk Cousins go undrafted? Yes. Secondly,
and Bailey, no. Not even close.
What?
Hard no.
Kamara stuff? No, absolutely not.
No.
Not this year at least. But anyway, I'm asking you this because look, kickers will average 6, maybe more a game. Sometimes running backs on the low end are going to average. They'll get 40 yards on the ground. This kicker is more valuable. Kickers have value. That's just me. I'm not saying go draft them in the 10th round. I'm saying maybe take the best kicker in the 14th rather than wait to the 15th. 1 round difference. That's my rule.
I'm saying take Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 14th, last year's version of him, and hope for the best. And take your kicker in the 16th because guess what?
All right.
Guess what? You ready for this? I took Justin. I didn't take a kicker until the 16th of last year. Guess who I finished the season with on my team?
Justin Tucker.
Justin Tucker. Didn't pick him. Somebody did waste an 11th round pick on him. I owned him at the end of the season because like people drop kickers when it's bye weeks. You'll inherit a kicker. And look at this. Ready? Look at what Justin Tucker was compared to the 10th best kicker last year, and then do the math on what the average is per week, and then tell me that it's worth reaching on a kicker. It's the same thing as quarterback, only they don't matter. Like, I think in a week-to-week basis, you could stream a kicker that has like a higher projection than the number one kicker. It's a crapshoot, big time crapshoot. You could have a kicker that Justin Tucker, what if they score 5 touchdowns a game? He's getting 5 points.
My favorite thing about all this is when I think you're about to write a note, it's just a squiggly line.
I write 1 in 10. I'm already, that was my saying. 1 through 10 of kickers, 10, minus 10, and then a T.
You're killing trees over here, Tucker. Man. Anyway,
I'll be mad at myself tomorrow or Monday when I go to do my rundown on
and you're down one sheet of paper, right?
All right. So the last thing is have fun.
Oh God.
All right. Don't have fun. Take it dead ass serious. If it's fun, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
Don't have fun.
Let's go.
Take it serious.
Win that money.
No beers.
No beers.
Only weed. No beers.
I mean, to be honest with you, on my home league, everybody brings beer. Everybody drinks except me.
And I don't drink during the draft. I also want to say one more thing.
I'll drink after to celebrate.
I also want to say one more thing, and this is my commandment. This is my rule, my commandment. I might ruffle some feathers in this group because I'm sure some of you guys are on board with this corny ass shit. I'm not. If you ever present me the option of buying a belt, the answer is no, right? It's a hard no for me. I do not want a belt. I have enough bullshit laying around my house and laying around the office. I do not want a belt, nor do I want to pay $12 towards the chance that somebody else having to have a shitty belt in their dresser.
It's not a shitty belt. Some of those belts are cool.
Here's a better idea. Buy a fucking flat screen TV for $120, a 40-incher, and give me that. Like every year, if you want to throw in something for like a door prize or something, do that. But or just add it to the prize money. It's like, here, guys, the league is 112 this year. Why 112? Because you know how everyone does that belt shit? That's corny. So we're just going to give the winner an extra $100 and he could buy what he wants.
But cool. I guarantee you, if Chris was in the league with a belt, he would rock that shit, put the shit on the desk. You know what I'm saying? Like you would definitely enjoy that belt if you had a belt.
Absolutely not. 0% chance. Ryan Berg, if you're watching, I'm not paying $12 for a belt.
So you literally called
that
people
piece out.
There was a question before by Brian Casey in the draft strategy open forum. Kamara or Barkley, who's the better option this year? That's Kamara to me. That's an easy one because Barkley is just like I don't know.
Kamara. The only
not saying
Kamara probably won't get suspended this year, but he still might. So there's that. You're going to have that dark cloud hanging over the Kamara thing. You might be able to get real value there, but you're going to have to play freeze tag with the NFL and their rules committee and what they're going to actually do. I don't even know if I said that right, but you get the point. Avoid Kamara to me, unless he's like 7th round, which he won't be.
Sound engineer Nick just came in and said it's Barkley.
Oh, shut up.
You're wrong.
Bailey, the first one you make, send it out here for us so we can give it to Gooch. He said, my league is a bunch of apprentices in his trade. Over the year, I'm going to make a fantasy trophy in class. Should be sick.
Oh, well, that's different. Bailey, are you charging people $12 on top of the entry fee to fucking make it?
No, and you know what?
I'm not solid.
Ready for this? This was what I did in my league. By the way, it hasn't been updated since like 2017, maybe. So it's been like 5 years, 6 years. We had little plaques on each side of the trophy. I didn't ask for $1. I bought the trophy. It's about this big. It's like the Ford's Fantasy Football Trophy. I put it at my dime. The only thing is I put on the first plaque, like Ford's Fantasy Football League, Commissioner Dave Sturch. I had to put my name on it because I thought that was like, I'm like, if I don't ever win this, at least my name is on it somewhere. But like, I never charged anybody.
That is the most fucking Dave thing I've ever heard in my entire life
in the world.
Holy
100%.
First of all, Rob's known me for a cup of coffee. What the fuck does that mean? It's the most Dave thing.
God damn it. That is hilarious, though. Also,
something I would do.
I wonder who has it. I wonder who has it right now.
My brother, because he won the championship last year.
Where is it, Danny?
Definitely at my dad's house.
Yeah. Shows how much he fucking cares.
If it doesn't leave the family, meaning like if my brother, me, or my father win, then it would stay at home. I know last year my sister-in-law's brother won.
If I won,
and we didn't even get it back on draft day. Forgot it.
I'd be like, yeah, you can hang on to it. It shows all you're doing is proving my point.
It's a cool thing. It's like a little Heisman guy. It's a cool looking trophy.
See, Bailey said it's not going to cost anything. The school pays for all the materials.
There you go. A Stanley Cup, annual engravings. That's what I have.
No, that'd be pretty cool.
I have that.
Like,
But it's only been engraved.
But it's been engraved with my name and my name only. No, it's been engraved for. Do you know that this year is my 17th year running my league, and my dad's won it five times?
Have you ever won it?
Yeah.
When you win it, does it stay at your dad's house? You bring it home?
No, I mean I was living at home when I won it. So I won it in 2013. Wasn't out of the house yet, so it stayed.
So
there.
when somebody else wins it, do you give it to them, or has it just been at your dad's house since the inception?
Do the Stanley Cup winners get to take the Stanley Cup home
Once a day.
I didn't ask about
Yes,
the Stanley Cup. I knew that answer.
Once a
I'm
day,
asking
they
about
do.
this trophy that hasn't left your dad's house since draft day last year.
And it says, Dave says, don't touch the thermostat.
My dad definitely owns a shirt that says thermostat police.
It says Davistat.
That's really good. Are we done with fantasy? Because we got team coverage and we're 55 in.
Yeah.
Oh man, because I know this one's going to be the shortest coverage of all time because they're just going to win every game. Anyway, the Dave Sturch honorary commemorative trophy of excellence.
I feel really good about the chances in the division.
Scoop, you should rewind if you really did miss that.
No, he didn't. Scoop, he's lying.
Ready for this?
Lying right
Ready
to
for
his
this? Scoop is like sending me the cards. Scoop hit another look. Scoop won a contest on the break last week, or Casey won a contest, his wife, and won a free pack of cards. I gave Scoop the pack of cards when I gave him the helmet. He
Ready for this Bush League shit?
Open him right there.
He didn't
He
open him
didn't.
right there.
He took him home.
like a scumbag,
Like a weirdo.
right? And then
Like I'm sure Casey's going to see this.
Open him on the
I'm sure
first.
Casey's going to see the part.
And
Like,
not only
oh my
that-
God, it's
not only
Trayvon
that-
Walker.
Not only that, he hit a Trayvon Walker two of two in it, or 2 of 2, yeah. And then he hit another Derek Stingley Jr. 4 of 4.
Did
So
he
we hit
record
2
it?
numbered cards. He didn't record it.
What
He's a fucking
Scoop. You're banned for a
so,
week.
so Scoop. Then I'm like, yo, you're posting this. Like, cool. Are you bragging about the shit that I just fucking basically gave you?
Give him some
Without,
rub.
and I don't care. I want people to brag.
He didn't tag? Nothing?
No. He didn't post it anywhere.
He sent
which
it in
is-
the group chat.
which is egregious. He
Hey, look
posted
what I
it in the
got.
group
I'm like,
chat.
oh,
Banned for a
cool.
week.
But you know
Scoop.
what he didn't do? He didn't buy the Jaguars. Like, and he's like, oh, I was thinking about the Jaguars aren't going to hit again. First of all, that's not how it fucking works. At all.
What kind of
Right?
That's like going to roulette. Like, well, zero
And
just
I
hit,
said,
so
I
it's
bet you
probably
didn't
not
think-
going to
I
hit
bet
again.
you didn't think that the pack that you didn't open in front of me was going to have a fucking Jaguars first round pick,
Which would have
Trayvon
been
Walker,
a fantastic
in the pack
video for our
either.
socials.
And he's like, true, I did laugh when I got it. And I said, but you still didn't buy the Jaguars jersey bid. What's going on, buddy? He's like, I might not buy them. I'm like, no, you are. You are buying them.
Here's the gun.
And
It's
if you
to
want
your
another
head,
team,
you have to
then
buy
you
it.
buy 2 teams. That's the rules.
But
Oh,
listen,
man.
now you know. And
No, I'm
every,
fucking with you, Scoop. You don't have to buy anything.
every
Yes,
one of
he
those
does.
breaks I've ever watched, if somebody buys a pack or wins a pack, they open it.
They
right
have
there.
to break it
Yeah,
here. That's
They-
part of the
they-
break
no,
buds
not even
thing.
them. Like Chris would open it if somebody
But
bought it
certain
online.
things, like if I'm giving away 1 pack
No,
in a
that's whatever.
giveaway,
I get it.
and they're in the room, I'll be like, you want to rip it or you want to
There, like
open
that.
it yourself?
There you
I have
go.
no problem with that.
All right.
What a hit,
Um,
though. Good
Yeah,
crew.
great
Fuck you,
couple
man.
hits. Anyway,
So fuck you, Scoop. Buy
to the Green Bay
Jaguars.
Packers, ladies and gentlemen. Those guys, they won a whole bunch of games last year, but when it came push to shove, they just choked in the big one. Oh, those Green Bay Packers, they just can't win the big game. And this coming from a guy wearing a star on his hat right now. So anyway, some key losses for the Green Bay Packers. As everybody knows, we already talked about it yesterday because of the preview for the Vikings. So Darius Smith went out of town and pretty much stays in the NFC North. The biggest one of all, obviously, Devontae Adams. Goodbye. Billy Turner, your right tackle. See you later. What?
Right tackle.
He started at right tackle. Yes, he did.
Really?
Anyway, some good gains here.
default.
The big gain here is getting Rodgers back under contract. That's the biggest one, obviously. They did sign fat ass Sammy Watkins to play receiver. But I will not knock their draft. Their draft was really, really good. We were sitting at McDonald's watching it all happen. They decided to go recruit the entire defense from Georgia, and they got themselves Quay Walker at linebacker, Devontae Wyatt at defensive tackle. Then they dip their hands into the white Wide Receivers Association of America and grab Christian Watson.
Well, half.
Whatever. Jesus, what, you know what I'm saying? Am I thinking of the wrong guy?
I believe so.
I was thinking of the guy from the Colts.
Yes.
Nah. All right. Well, so Christian Watson.
And a little buyer's FOMO on him. I would love Alec Pierce.
He would have been Jordy Nelson 2.0, 110%.
Couldn't believe
But
it.
anyway, the Packers are loaded. Everybody knows this. They're going to really have an easy time in a lot of their games because they're just that good, and Rodgers is just that good. Their depth chart, easily known. Aaron Rodgers is QB1, but Jordan Love breathing down his neck with all those picks that he threw last week. Aaron Jones, Aaron Jones starting running back. Obviously, we talked about A.J. Dillon in our fantasy segment here. The only thing, and look, I'm not a Packers fan, and I'm not also a guy that roots against the Packers because I feel like a good work environment here at Chop Studios is a good thing. So when the Packers are doing well and he's strutting around like McGregor because they're doing well, it's an overall fun experience around the office. So I do pull for the Packers to do well. However, I will say this about their wide receiving room. I say yikes because Alan Lazard is good. We've all seen what he can do. Is he wide receiver 1 good? Because that's what he's going to be asked to do right away.
No.
Right. So then Sammy Watkins, you bring in the experience. He can catch balls. I don't think he's talented anymore. Again, he's good, but he's not elite. So far, 2 receivers don't equal Devontae production. No. I don't think. Then Randall Cobb back. Yes. Yeah, he's there for a couple years. So I love Randall Cobb. He's good.
I hope you're not trying to like add up who's going to equal nobody. Nobody is.
I'm not, but I am saying
they don't have that.
That Rodgers is going to have himself a tough time. And I'm not taking away Rodgers' skill. I still think Rodgers throws the best ball in the game of football. He is the best thrower of the football out there. He laces him in, drops him in the bucket. That's great. But you got to get guys open. He can't do that for him. You got to make sure you catch all the balls. He can't do that for him. So does that worry you as a Packer guy and as somebody that lost their best player? Does that worry you in the offensive production? Or are you saying like, that's okay, we got Aaron Jones, let's run the ball?
It does. Like, what are we doing? It does worry me because, you know, as you, there's going to be things that take place throughout the course of the season where there's a drop in a big spot. There's this. Look, that happened last year with the receivers that we had. Marquez Valdez-Scantling dropped a lot of passes. I did like him, but he made some big mistakes and some that cost us our season, you could say, in the playoffs, but we're not going to talk too deep about that. Yeah, there's obvious a hole at wide out. The wide receiver 1 is lacking. The way the Packers are going to line things up this year, though, I think I've talked about it at length throughout the offseason. They remind me a lot of the roster reminds me a little bit of the Seahawks when they were good. Even the Patriots when they were good. They're going to play real good defense. They're going to be very committed to the run of the football.
And can you do that with a guy like Aaron Rodgers under center?
I think, yeah.
Because of who Aaron Rodgers is?
Absolutely, 100%, especially if you're winning football games. I think if you're losing and you're only dropping back 25 times a game, 30 times a game, then you're going to have a problem on your hands with Rodgers saying, look, I need to be doing more. But if you're winning football games and A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones are rolling along, and then you have nice splash plays by your receivers because they're not getting doubled. They have to respect the run. There's a lot of ways that you could do this. I'm very confident in Matt LaFleur's ability to kind of finesse the offense to what we got. And I hate bringing this up because I know it's very different to work this way throughout the course of a season than it is to like do patchwork things over a 2-week or 3-week stretch where you might be out of a star player. The Packers are 7-0 without Devontae Adams in the Matt LaFleur era. That you can't take that away. It is a small sample size, but they have
that's a large sample size when you think about a season worth or 17 games.
But like I said, you break it up into 1 game here, 2 games
so
here.
It wasn't. They didn't lose them for a stretch.
Then you look at some of the games that they played in those 7. Maybe not so great opponents.
Because I'll tell you right now, Aaron Rodgers knows how to become Michael Jordan when he loses Scottie Pippen. You know what I'm saying? Like he lost his best guy and still turned into a great guy. But in
his fantasy points were 4 points higher in games without Devontae.
Because now he's throwing it all over the place.
So
he doesn't have a triple cover guy.
It could help. But yeah, there's obvious reservations on my part to think that the receivers are going to be able to play as well as they have in the past. As a Packer fan, we've typically had really good receiving units. Sure. All the buzz about the Packers didn't ever help Rodgers with a first-round pick. You show me a draft along the way where it would have been a smart thing to do and pick a receiver 1 when you have Jordy and Jennings. They weren't picked in the first round, but you're not. There's no need there. So you're not going to draft a receiver in round 1 when you have good ones. They could have done a little more this year in the draft. Wide out.
Ken Palmer coming in with a logical question. In those 7-0 games, who are they playing?
That's what I just said. They had some easy games, but they did go on the road last year and beat an undefeated Arizona Cardinal team, and they set that spiral off. So they did have. And you said that's the most recent game.
You put the stigma now on the Cardinals, and the Cardinals just fall apart every year around the same time. So that's the thing. You did mention their defense, right? And I'd be remiss to not shout out like guys like Preston Smith, Devontae Campbell, one of the better up and coming guys. Quay Walker, who they just Quay
Quay.
That's what I figured. Quay Walker is the guy they drafted. Rashawn Gary. Their cornerbacks, bro. Jair's healthy, so it's like they didn't have Jair all last year.
Their corners
you know
played next out of this world last year with no Jair. He's
Stokes
one of the
second
top
year
three
guy.
corners.
Took Stokes last year, right? Yeah, and then Amos and Savage on the back end. Look, the Packers are going to be good. Like, there's no, it's not him too. It's not all bets off. You know, just the wheels are falling off because they lost one player. I think they compensated to make sure that teams aren't scoring enough to even worry about how much offense you got to score every week, right? So when you look at their schedule, and I said this yesterday,
it's a tough one.
it is a very well. I said this.
It's always tough though.
When you're a first place schedule, except if you're the Cowboys, you play a very tough NFC first place schedule. So their first game against at Minnesota, I said to you yesterday, if Minnesota wants any kind of part or any kind of smoke or any kind of burn this year for the NFC North, Minnesota has to have that game. I know it's one game, it's first game, nobody cares, right? No, Minnesota, if you don't want to play catch up for the year, you got to have it. So that's why I might lean towards a similar game, not similar because the Saints actually beat the brakes off the Packers last year. I don't foresee that happening. I just foresee maybe people, the up in arms. Rodgers goes 17 for 30 for a touchdown and a pick and just doesn't put up numbers and they lose. They're going to be like, oh, I told you. I've been trying to tell you this all year long. And then they come back the following week and beat the shit out of the Bears.
Against the run week one. That's our path there, I think.
All right. So the Bears come week 2. That's when it's the get right away. Sorry, Silva.
We're 2-0.
You think 2-0 at Tampa Bay.
Tough one.
Because one, it's Tom Brady.
It's
one, it's Tom Brady. Two, you guys can't play in Florida.
Can't play in Florida. There's a lot stacked against Tom Brady playing at home. He might be back by week 3, hopefully for the Tampa Bay fans. I don't know what's going on with Tom Brady. Nobody does.
Okay. So they get back home after Tampa and they play the Patriots. Give me a win. Then they got the Giants in bloody old London. And doesn't matter. They beat the Giants. They come back home after London trip. They beat the Jets.
So 5-1.
I got them. Potential 2 losses. Potential 2 losses. Okay. At Washington, shit. Give me Packers there. At Buffalo. To me,
that's a game where I feel like they're going to get overlooked by almost everybody looking at it. That's not an easy game. But winnable game. The week with Aaron Rodgers, you
yeah, that's right. And if you are taking this critique and we are out online, this is available on podcast for minutes and time. There's no kickouts, there's none of that shit. Go check out the Podcast Network and download that. Sorry.
Where was I? Buffalo. Yeah, so that's not an easy game. I'm not going to talk about it, but if I'm being arbitrary, we're trying to find 5 losses, 4 or 5 Buffaloes. Yes, I'm off. I'm material. Is he going to catch touchdowns?
For the Buffalo game, the Buffalo game is tough. Detroit, I put a question because those are the games that are just a little bit trickier to call. If Detroit's rolling, which I think they might be better than they've been.
Division game on the road, never easy, except if it's Detroit. The Packers are like 21-2 against Detroit.
Then an absolute loss in week 10 at home against Dallas. And then after that,
what do we have?
Trying to get away with that one, but
8-2.
I don't know. I'll tell you the floor in a second because then they got the Titans
13-4 this year.
at Philly,
Same
at
thing.
Chicago. A very late bye. Week 14 is their bye week.
I don't hate that.
Yeah, because if they have to get ready for the playoff run,
Look,
that might be the
I
ideal
always talk
situation.
about this with bye weeks. It's all crap. Like you could have a week 6 bye and it could be the best time. It could be a week 4 bye, best time for your team. If you have a guy that's down, your quarterback goes out, he's out week to week. Get your quarterback healthy. You don't have to punt a week.
After the bye, it doesn't get easy. They play the Rams, but the game's in Green Bay, so that kind of helps them out a little bit. Week 16, ready for a loss at Miami. It's just December.
I don't like that. Tough defense.
Yeah, Vikings at home, and then they finish against the Lions, which they should win both of those games back to back at home. So I think doing this, right, just like, who the Packers got? 9, no matter what. 9, just give me 9, right? That's the floor. The tricky games to me at Tampa, at Detroit, at Philly, at Miami, and home against Dallas. It ain't going to be a fucking runaway. I mean, like, if you want to win that game, you're going to have to beat them up.
Of course.
There's like 5 or 6 games on this schedule that can go it's either close and the Packers pull it off because Rodgers is Rodgers, or they lose. So I think the floor is 9. The prediction for me is 11, but they can also win 14 games. So it's such a toss-up for the Packers.
So to me, the floor is 11, because if you're looking at, and I'm only going based off of your, I'll take your word for it. Eyes closed, Packers got 9 wins just looking at the schedule. And then that means that there's 8 games left, right? And they're up in the air. The Packers aren't going.
If you split them, you're at 13.
The Packers aren't going 2-6
Very
in
true.
Those possible winnable hard games. Like, they're a hard game too. You got Green Bay on the schedule. It's like, that's a tough one, especially on the road. So yeah, Packers are, I think 12 is a lock, or 11 is the lock. I'm going to go with 13 because
13-4. No Adams. They're just going to run through the league again.
Matt LaFleur, 13 wins a year, first 3 years.
That's bound to not happen.
You think they win the division over Minnesota?
They said that last year.
Yeah, I mean, well, he
With
had
no
Minnesota
Rodgers,
at 10 yesterday.
They said that last year. This offseason was as much as we lost with Devontae Adams, this offseason was light years better than it was last year, as far as with the Rodgers situation. And the Devontae Adams leaving, that was a shitty thing. But if you look at the news, the Packers news and their transactions in the weeks right after it, Jair extension, Kenny Clark extension, Devondre Campbell.
Because it emptied the bank.
Yeah, Devondre Campbell brought back. Rasul Douglas, I always get that confused, brought back. These are 2 guys. Those 2 guys would have been gone. We would have Devontae and none of them. And then you'd be like, oh, our third corner is weak. Who's going to play middle linebacker? Well, now we have a all-pro and not an all-pro, but almost an all-pro in Rasul.
Ken, letting you know, just as a programming note,
really
we did this last year. We went through people's schedules. We said wins and losses, right? But then we actually sat down and did week-by-week predictions of each and every game. So we'll do that again.
Because I have a firm understanding as to when we do this ragtag,
it doesn't line up. I'm not knee-deep in it. We might have
like 800 wins and only like 300 losses.
Right. It would make zero actual math sense. We did it last year. It's actually on our Instagram. I don't think it deleted it. Our 2021 predictions are out there on our Instagram, floating around there somewhere. When Chris and AJ predicted the Commanders to win 12 games.
I'll
never let that go. I did 17-0 and run through and win the Super Bowl. So 21-0 or whatever the fuck.
I wonder who was close. Well, the Chiefs did win 13. So
at the end of the year, we were like, I think you won by a game or 2 games as far as the win-loss predictions as they went and did our game picks. This year, it's going to be a little different. There's going to be a lot of Patreon stuff involved where the picks won't be just kind of handed out because we want to test ourselves against the sauce.
It's not only that I want to test myself. I just also think that it's an unfair disadvantage for me to have to put my picks out there for the world to see on Friday, like 48 hours before kickoff.
Very, very, very.
A lot of factors.
Good play. All right. So it's been a long one. It's went a little overtime today. We had a low. I said it in all the previews and all the stuff that I share out there. There was a loaded show, and it was. So fantasy advice again.
We hear you, Ken.
Yes, definitely. If you have watched the show and the internet kicked out, and you are actually very interested in what we had to say about the fantasy stuff, plus the Packers preview, plus everything else that we said today, this show every day is available on podcast form on Spotify, iTunes, everything. Our sound engineer Nick gets that going and gets that up there. And of course, reminder, programming note, Sunday, because today I'm probably going to go out and get a Netgear fucking thing. So Sunday there'll be nice internet for the Break Buds that goes down at 8:00.
Yes, 8:00. Go check out the eBay store if you want to get in on some of the auctions. There's also a mini helmet that's up in the eBay store right now, and the starting bid price is $399. There's not many bids on them, so I'm telling you right now, and I'm not just saying this as a salesman. In the realm of what we're doing, the prices that we have, we're ground level. Get in on them now, because I promised you in 3 months, the prices of this is going to be not $10 a team.
It's not. No,
it's going to be different. There's going to be open bidding and things like that. It's your chance now to
get
drop your decent cool stuff.
Drop your
or a chance to win.
Drop your Venmo right now. It's
at Chris Gucci.
All right. So if you want in on this, Gueci at Chris Gucci, Venmo him right now. In the description, also the team.
Careful though.
Okay, don't be careful.
Message me first, because I don't want you to Venmo me for a team that's bought already.
Oh, yeah.
There's
so contact Chris.
Go look at the Facebook. Go look at Instagram. I posted who has been bought already.
The Bills and the Giants got bid on from my friends. So There you go. So we're rolling here.
You, Scoop, but you
and look at that. They actually said it's that cheap. Like, it's crazy right now. So this is when you can look, that Trevor Lawrence helmet that he won for fucking $10 is a $500 to $1,000 item right now. Imagine if the guy has the career that everybody wants him to have as far as Jaguars fans are concerned. But like, that could be very, very valuable. And right now, Break Buds is doing big things. So break.buds on Instagram for all those updates too. You're on Facebook.
Yes. Ken, you're not wrong. Yes, there is a Break Buds, but really, like, I'm using the Break Buds and then I'll share it to Chop Sports. You could go follow and like it. I'm not pushing that page, but I'm not going to turn down likes. And Ken, yes, the old bait and switch. Get it in for 10 now, but 50 by January. It's only a bait and switch if I'm fucking not telling you about it. Here I am saying, hey, it's cheap now.
I was going to say bait and switch is a bad thing, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not a bait and switch because it's being honest. It's
right.
Like I'm not in this. I'm in this for fun, but hopefully there's some money involved down the line.
I mean, no, of course there's money involved. Hello. All right. Anyway, so it's been a show, a loaded one. Again, our apologies about the internet. It might not even be optimum at this point. It might just be something on my end. So we're going to fix all that. So thanks for sticking with us. If you did watch the video, please like the video. If you're watching us later, which, by the way, if I've noticed, a massive chunk of our views on this show happen later on in the day. So for those people, thank you guys for tuning in later. And of course, like the video as you're watching it or when you're done watching it, if you're watching it on
I got a message from Zeph yesterday who said I caught back on the Break Buds episode and I just caught up on the Chop Daily. So I heard my name get announced. He's like, I knew I won. I just didn't know what I won or how I won. I got something for you, but we'll link up. I think he sent me a message, but we weren't friends, so I didn't see it in time.
Goes right to spam.
Now we are friends on Facebook.
It's where I put all of Ken Palmer's messages.
Yeah,
right
we'll be linking up on the U.S. Postal Service airwaves.
Seattle, Miami, Gooch. That's what Bailey wants. All right, it's all written down.
I think Seattle is bought already, but
we'll talk about it.
But it might be for sale again because Kyle bought it. He'll probably sell it if you want it.
Oh, Kyle's getting involved. Now you're all in deep shit. Kyle's getting in here with his unlimited bankroll. So make sure you get on that shit right now.
So Kyle was like, is it cool if I buy a conference? And I said, it's
before we
real
go.
Cool. But let's let everyone buy
Before
first.
we go, our boy Jack came in. I saw this question a couple times, and I wasn't able to just pick up on it. Ticket prices, parking passes, usual for diehard fans. So apparently, parking passes are going on 9/11 for $125 for opening day. Like, fuck out of here. Are you out of your mind? Like, not you. I'm talking about the person charging for that shit.
You get in where you fit in, and guess what?
Now, I don't think that's the Giants or the Jets charging that.
But guess what? That parking lot will be filled with people who spend $125. Here's the only fix. Jack and I feel your pain, buddy. I feel it. Trust me. It's too much money. But people are going to pay it, so it's not too much. That's it. It's like what is something worth? What's it worth, people parking at Giant Stadium? Bet it's worth $125 to you.
I bet it's worth taking an Uber.
Bet he's buying a parking pass, unfortunately, and I'm not meaning to make fun of the situation, but that's the case.
That's the only way to fix it is everybody doesn't go in.
Minimum $100
Jack, what do you want to tell Joe Byron right now?
I want to take you to dinner. All right, anyway, go
pay for my parking pass.
Go follow us on all social media platforms. Hit us up if you want to come by, take a tour of the studio. Find us at Chop Studios NJ on Instagram. For Sturch, Gooch, and of course, Wrestling Rob. Jack, hit us up on the side. We'll talk to you a little bit. Maybe I can get you. I know a couple people over at the Meadowlands, so maybe I can hook you up before that. So, with that being said, it's been a long one, loaded show. Thanks for watching. See you back here Sunday night for the Break Buds, and then back on the show on Monday morning.